Fishbat, the sharp has spoken. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're gonna flex on Survivor, make sure your idea actually works. The editors will make you look stupid otherwise. Survivor is a game about public perception. How much does the jury like you? How much does the jury respect you? How much does the jury want to give you $1 million? This can make Survivor a very showy game, and the showiness can bleed into day-to-day activity. Today, I've compiled several of Survivor's biggest flexes, and I'll be walking through them and talking about what makes them so sick. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
First, what is a flex? To me, a flex is any action or statement that's intended to show just how in control you are, just how much better you are than everyone else, just how little hope that others have against you. Now, funnily enough, a flex doesn't have to be successful, and we'll get into that later, but I first want to discuss the small distinction between a flex and showboating, one that I honestly can't fully explain. This moment right here? Or this moment here?
Ron and Julie, you are villains. I was already going home. Do you just want to make me look stupid? So my kids think I'm an idiot? Except, you've proven time and time again that you're untrustworthy and disloyal, and Julie's proven time and time again that she loves lying to people's faces.
Those aren't flexes to me. Those are showboating. But this here?
Did you do that?
Yeah. I did it.
Now that's a flex. I think the difference comes from being in a position of perceived power, and we'll explore that more later. But let's start with the flex that echoes through time. A flex from the very first season of Survivor. It's the final immunity challenge in Survivor Borneo. Richard, Kelly, and Rudy all have one thing left to do: win that final immunity. But Richard, as Richard does, starts thinking. He broke the game once before, surely he can do it again. And then he realizes. I think it's at this point he said to himself, I'm about to do the coldest move in reality TV history. And he steps down from the challenge. The absolute gall of this man, even Jeff can't believe it. Oh, Jeff's mad about this one. And Richard is as smug as he's ever been, because he knows he just secured his spot at Final Tribal Council. Let's say Richard wins immunity. He can take Rudy and lose miserably. That's not a good option. He can take Kelly and lose Rudy's vote. He can't afford to lose Rudy's vote. That's also not a good option. But who does Kelly take to the end? Is it Rudy? Heck no. Worst case scenario, Rudy wins immunity, Richard gets $100,000 regardless. But Rudy was a 72-year-old man. Kelly was a 22-year-old who'd already won 3 immunities in the past. Stepping down is his best chance of winning, and the other two know it as well. And in that moment, eating oranges with Jeff Probst, Richard has pulled off the biggest flex in Survivor so far.
I wish you both luck.
Get a Grip features several different flexes in of itself. It's hard for me to choose just one. They all come down to one thing. All that pain you're in? It's nothing to me. You've got JT climbing up the pole in Heroes vs Villains.
JT, were you just playing around? Nah, I almost failed.
But that doesn't work, so that's a bit of a mid-tier flex. You got Tyson hanging off the pole in Tocantins, but he retracts it after a bit, worried about his moneymaker.
I just don't want you to break your pretty little face.
That's true. It is my moneymaker.
I know.
You've got Hunter's upside down hang in Survivor 46. I was almost going to make this the flex, but I did it after the challenge. It also probably upset Q.
Hunter made a mistake. If I can't find you in hide and seek, I can't find you in this game.
Instead, this flex goes to one of the lesser talked about Survivor players. Parvati Shallow. Look at it. Everyone else is fighting for their lives up there. It's a perfectly even 5 vs 5 split at a pivotal merged tribal council. And she's just hanging there. Not a single care in the world. She flexes so hard, Jerry gives up. Jerry sees that and just goes,
I think I'm about done.
And then Parvati proceeds to flex again by letting Danielle win the challenge. Now, was this a brilliant 5D chess move by Parvati to ensure the heroes didn't vote for her, by making them think she was safe via an idol she'd play on herself so she could instead play the two idols she had on Sandra and Jiri? Maybe. Was it an awesome flex on Survivor? Absolutely. Now, the Queen has some amazing flexes in Game Changers.
That's what you get for plotting against me.
Good job.
That's what you get, and the queen stays queen.
But we're going to stick to heroes versus villains. She has some amazing flexes here as well.
You with me or you against me?
I'm against you, Russell.
That's a pretty good one.
Should I let you finish?
Also solid.
But I don't know about that.
If she'd said that to his face, biggest flex of all time. That's more destruction of personal property than a flex, but cool nonetheless. But you know what I've got instead? I have a Sandra challenge performance. Yeah, bet you didn't expect that.
Sandra moving on.
I can't believe it.
Chimney sweep in Heroes vs Villains. Now the heroes tried to flex by putting JT in third. Yeah, that's right. The previous winner of this challenge isn't even our best, that's how good we are. But they got outdone by the Queen. You see, Sandra is fiending for some Outback Steakhouse, and Rupert has a broken toe. Might have actually been two. Rupert is in a lot of pain during this. He's already a big dude. He's got a messed up foot. How does Sandra comfort her friend who once voted her to win $1 million?
Hang on, Sandra. You popped out some babies. This ain't nothing. 2 of them didn't even get an aspirin.
She lets him know this is nothing to her. And not long after that,
Villains, win reward!
I want to jump ahead in the Survivor timeline. Don't worry, we'll be back for her soon. I want to talk about Wendell Holland. The man with like 1 successful flex and I think 2 failed ones. We aren't talking about his idol play at the final 5. For some reason that feels more like showboating for me. Look, this is mostly a vibes thing. If you can figure out what actually differentiates flexing from showboating, please let me know in the comments below. It's the final 7 of Ghost Island and Wendell has solved his puzzle. He steps back, admiring his work, waiting for the teacher to come and tell him good job and put the puzzle up on the fridge. But the teacher doesn't notice. Jeff instead goes to Laurel, who calls him first, and Laurel wins immunity for it. Wendell refuses to make the same mistake again, and he goes about it in one of the flashier ways.
Jeff Probst! What? I think I'm done, bro! Wendell wins individual immunity!
First he announces to the other players that he's won the challenge, and in the same breath he's laughing at his own mistakes last round. Yeah, I messed up, Jeff, but you aren't going to catch me twice. Now he did try to flex a few times in Winners at War, and honestly these made me wonder if the initial one wasn't actually a flex but was instead a cry for help.
Watch this, Jeff.
And drops while talking smack. Yeah. Hey, yo, bro, we're almost there. Wendell getting close.
Just focus on the next piece.
I need his attention.
These are clearly the words of a broken man, but still a pretty sick flex, so we take those. Our 5th flex is a bit of a weird one, and it comes from Survivor Fiji, the season that set out to prove... Let me double check this. Yeah. Set out to prove that if you give one team a life of luxury and the other team absolutely nothing, then the team with nothing will simply pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Yeah, sure thing, Jeff. Now Moto had literally everything. Hammock? Of course. Outhouse? Why not? Cutlery and plates? Absolutely. A French press? Well, only the bare necessities on Survivor. When your team has a Gary on it and you're still dominating, that's when you know you've got things good. It got so bad, production tried to do something about it. After the episode 4 immunity challenge, which Moto obviously wins, even though they just lost their shining star in Gary due to a medical quit, production gave Moto a choice. You can keep immunity, or you can keep your shelter. And Moto, as a collective, looked at Ravu and says, "You will continue to suffer." They give them immunity, keeping their fancy shelter, a fact that Ravu isn't actually that happy about. Look at these guys. They're depressed because they got flexed on so bad right now. 8 people came to agreement that one of them going home was worth it if it meant they got to keep their life of luxury, a life that Ravu can't even begin to imagine, and a choice that ensured Moto would go on to win every single immunity challenge this season. Ice cold. Our next flex comes from someone I did not expect. Yule in Survivor Cook Islands. It's the Survivor auction, and I2 has said, you know what, we hate Candice, even though she is one of the 10 most heroic figures to ever play Survivor, we don't like her very much, and we would like her to suffer a bit more, because that's what heroes do. So they send our hero Candice to Exile Island for the 3rd time in a row, and Jeff desperately tries to throw her a bone.
Now it is day 29. There is still the idea of the hidden immunity idol out on Exile.
And Yule says, you know what, let's end this.
I have it. You have the idol. I have the idol.
He pulls out the idol and he lays out to the remaining 3 people out of his alliance why he is better than them and why they're not going to win the game. I never expected Yule to just stunt on everyone like that. He even gives the idol to Parvati to hold, as if to say, look at it. Look at the power you don't have. Not only is he instrumental in sending Candice to exile,
640.
he refuses to let her even have a modicum of hope.
I can end the suspense.
And he votes her out not 2 days later. Find me a better flex. Well, I found me a better flex, because for our seventh and last flex of today, we have Natalie in San Juan del Sur. I'm gonna have to do a play-by-play for this one. There are layers to this. This is a masterclass in how to ride the fine line between flexing and showboating perfectly. Step 1. Find a hidden immunity idol with Baylor. Baylor now knows you have an idol and thinks you're bonded for the rest of the game. Step 2. After Keith wins immunity, find out that Baylor and Missy aren't voting for each other and they won't vote for you because you have an idol. Surely you play the idol on yourself anyway, right? Security in the game is always worth it. But you could flex a little by not playing it and pulling it out at Final Tribal Council. Surely that's a big enough flex, right? Wrong. Step 3. Think of a badass line. Something like,
tomorrow we make our apologies, tonight we make our move.
Or,
I ain't finished playing just yet.
Or maybe even,
Confucius says that the greatest glory a man can have is not in never falling, but in rising again every time he falls, and I fell hard last night.
Step 4. Deliver said line while playing your idol.
Jacqueline, did you vote for who I told you to vote for?
There is power in basically every part of this sentence. Jacqueline, did you do what I told you to do? This is my move. If it works, it's because I told you, and the jury will know this. They will know that you are only in this game by my mercy, and only your golden retriever boyfriend and the biggest Missy hater in the world will vote for you to win. Step 5. Idle out Baylor with the very idol you found with her, eliminating the last couple in this game, skyrocketing your chances to win, completely asserting dominance over everyone right in front of the jury. That is one of the biggest flexes in Survivor history. But what do you think? Are there any flexes I missed? Let me know in the comments below. I'm currently compiling a spreadsheet of the biggest flexes in Survivor, and I'd love to make this a series, so please leave any suggestions in the comments. Maybe I'll look at international Survivor flexes next. Like Raymond. Look at this guy. He paused his game to be here. There isn't a bigger flex. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you after I figure out a cool move that makes me look good in front of the jury without coming off as a prick.